And it's that we have to grasp the implication for anger. You know, when I go running in my neighborhood, dogs pay attention. They probably smell me coming, I mean, honestly. And so some of them will perk up and prance around. Their bark sounds happy. You can tell that they'd love nothing more than to go running with me. All right? But then there's other dogs. And they seem to be very upset when I encroach upon their territory. And their bark is aggressive. It's hostile. Right? They bare their teeth and they charge the fence. And if it wasn't there holding them back, they'd probably try to sink those teeth into me. And God's prohibition of murder is like that fence. It holds most of us back most of the time. But in those moments when anger takes over, we charge right up to it, right? Fully intending to sink our teeth into someone. Jesus wants us to grasp the implication of running up to that limitation. It's that our anger is evidence that we have murderous hearts. Matthew 5:22, he says, "But I say to you that everyone who's angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother will be liable to the council, and whoever says you fool will be liable to the hell of fire." Now, of course, the world tells us that anger is just a normal human emotion. They say that you shouldn't hold it back or restrain it. You just need to vent it, blow off steam. Jesus contradicts that view. He argues that anger is liable to the same judgment as murder. And he repeats the exact same phrase there. Insults, he says, deserve to be brought before a court. And to ensure that we don't miss the point, he adds that last phrase there, that calling someone a fool is worthy of punishment in hell. So how can responses that seem so minor to us have such significant consequences? We have to view them from God's perspective. I think Genesis chapter 9, verses 5 through 6 helps us do that. After Noah and his family survived the flood, God establishes consequences for murder. Some would say it's the institution of human government, even. He says, "And for your lifeblood I will require a reckoning. From every beast I will require it, and from man. From his fellow man I will require a reckoning for the life of man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For God made man in his own image." See, since we're made in the image of God, every human being should be treated with respect and even reverence. But murder is the exact opposite. The murderer rejects the value that God has bestowed on people. They treat people as cheap obstacles to be eliminated, people who are getting in their way. And so you have to see that what's going on in the heart. When someone commits murder, they're exalting their personal desires, their personal agenda over the revealed will of God about the value of the individual. James chapter 4, verses 1 and the first part of verse 2 brings out that connection with selfishness. He says, "What causes quarrels and what causes fights among you? Is it not this, that your passions are at war within you? You desire and do not have, so you murder." Now we think, well, anger and insults, come on, they don't go that far. But the issue is that they flow from the exact same mindset. We get upset when people get in our way. We use anger and we use insults to push them around. And when we do that, we're exalting our personal desires and treating people like dirt. And so at its core, it's the same heart as murder. It's refusing to value people as those made in the image of God. A little earlier in James, he says that about how we use our tongue. In James 3:8-9, he says, "But no human being can tame the tongue." It's this frustration that we have. It's a restless evil full of deadly poison. With it we bless our Lord and God, and with it we curse people who are made in the likeness of God. That's really the issue. And so the problem is not what we choose to call someone. Most of us can think of things far worse than calling someone a fool, right? I think a lot of Christians, we play this weird legalistic game of finding alternative curse words to put people down with, right? We think that makes it better. That's a legalistic game. It's the heart that matters, because the heart and motive is the issue. It's the same as murder. We just stop ourselves before crossing the line. Now, some of us, we try to claim that our anger is righteous and just. Right? And believe me, I've played that game. We get offended by someone's sinful behavior and we feel justified in berating them for it. And that may seem spiritual, but it's still fundamentally selfish. Because again, it treats people like obstacles, getting in the way of my own personal pursuit of righteousness. And it assumes that they aren't slaves to sin, that they could change if they just tried harder like I do. That's the arrogant, self-righteous outlook of the Pharisees, who condemned Jesus for being a friend of sinners. We come back again and again to this truth that we're all sinners who are only saved by grace. And that we should show compassion to people. No matter how they behave, they're still made in the image of God. So in Titus 3:2-3, Paul instructs Christians to speak evil of no one, to avoid quarreling, to be gentle, and to show perfect courtesy toward all people. Why? For we ourselves were once foolish, disobedient, led astray, slaves to various passions and pleasures, passing our days in malice and envy, hated by others and hating one another. And so, what do we do about our murderous hearts? We confess our sinfulness. We look to Jesus as the one who fulfills the law. We believe that he died in our place to satisfy its demand for atonement. We keep reminding ourselves that the only thing that makes me acceptable to God is that I'm clothed in his righteousness. And then I give thanks because he's given us the Spirit. It's only by his power that I can begin to overcome that murderous heart of mine. How do we do it? How does that work? We have to adopt this application. It's reconciliation.